Yo, what's up everyone? This is Arcando and welcome to a brand new tutorial today. I'm going to show you guys how I processed my vocals in my brand new song, There For You, that came out a week ago. This song really means so much to me. It's my first song that I've released with my own vocals and that I've written myself, besides of producing it on my own, mixing it on my own, and mastering it on my own. And just to see all the love and support from you guys has been just amazing. Really just motivates me even more to record my own vocals for my own songs, which I'm definitely doing more. So I think this is going to be a really interesting tutorial, a really interesting video, especially because if you make pop or trap or future bass basically just any song with vocals, you got to make sure that the vocals are sitting nicely in the mix. Because if the mix of the vocal isn't strong enough, or if the tuning is off, or if the comping is weird, or rhythmically it just doesn't work, your whole track just kind of falls apart. So I'm going to show you guys what I've done for this track and how I went about processing it, tuning it, mixing it with the instrumental, and how to basically make it really in your face, really upfront in the mix. So there are a couple important things that you need to know when recording vocals. First of all, the room. As you can see here, I'm in my own studio. When you record vocals, make sure there is no reverb anywhere. I mean, it can be just a little bit, but don't, just make sure the room is dead enough. So yeah, that's probably the most important rule, I think, for vocals. Secondly, I think having a solid enough microphone is really important. This is the microphone I've used for my own song. This is the Rode NT1A microphone. It's very affordable, especially since it's like a very clear mic. It's very powerful. It's very clean, and I think it's around like the $200 or something. So this is definitely a great mic, especially if you are kind of tight on money. And then the other thing that's very important is the preamp of your interface. I use the M-Track 2X2, and it's also a very affordable interface. It's very nice to use. It's very easy. It's just like a one knob interface basically. And the preamp is actually very strong on this one. It's a very low noise preamp. Which is something that you really want to have when recording vocals. So yeah, I think all these three combined are going to be really helpful when recording vocals. So yeah, now that we've discussed that, let's dive into the project. So I'm in the project right now, and I'm going to play the song from the verse, so you guys have a little bit of a first listen to the track.
This feeling inside me, I know that it's telling me something. So many reasons that tell me I gotta be someone.
Okay, so this is the verse vocal.
Something.
And we're gonna start off with explaining comping. If you guys don't know what comping is basically where you just record let's say your verse or chorus or pre-chorus in multiple different takes. So as you can see here, I recorded the first verse 8 times. They're all the same, but every take is different. So this is really great for when you just want to have the perfect take. It never happens when you just record your very first take and it's perfect, because, for example, this word from take 7 might be better than the word from take 6. So the more takes you have, the more you can kind of combine your best takes together into just one new take. And this is where Logic is just amazing. You can literally just select whatever part you want, and it will just make its cuts. So as you can see here, if I select this part at take 8, then the other parts will be deselected, and it will just make its own selection. So as you can see here, it uses crossfades, and you have a whole new take. And that's a really amazing feature that Logic has that I don't know if other DAWs also have. But yeah, that's why I just love using Logic. After recording these 8 takes and after kind of selecting the parts that you want, you basically have a whole new take. I'm going to start off by showing you the first plugin, which is the Pro Saturn from Fat Filter. It just lightly saturates the sound, and that's really what I wanted for this vocal. So then there is this plugin, it's called Nectar 3. Now Nectar is a plugin from iZotope, and this is probably my favorite vocal plugin. This plugin allows you to let it listen to your recording, and then it's going to add its own effects to your recording. It will just listen to your recording and add its own effects. And this plugin is awesome for when you are, for example, in a session with someone and you're recording a vocalist and you just want to know really quickly how it's going to sound like when it's sort of mixed already. So basically how it works, right, is you click on Vocal Assistant, you go to Assist, you click Next, and you can select the intensity of the processing of your vocal. Now, I clicked on aggressive because I noticed that that works really nicely for my vocal. And then I press next, and then it's going to listen to your recording and it will make its own effects chain. Now, I won't press next because it's already done. But as you can see here, it added a gate, EQ, de-esser, EQ, compression, and also reverb, but I really don't like the reverb of this plugin, so I turn it off and I just made my own, which I will show you guys later. But as you can see here, it just made its own effects rack for my vocal, which is amazing. It really just made my vocal already stand out way more. It made it way more bright, way more like upfront in the mix. And I also love the tuner of this plugin. I was afraid it's almost going to be like a T-Pain effect, but it didn't. It just still sounds very natural. So yeah, that is Nectar. And then I finish it off with an EQ. And with this EQ, I cut off some low end. I removed a little bit of the kind of like the 500, 400 hertz. And then I added a boost around the 8,000 hertz and the 2,500 hertz. So then what I did is, this is obviously not the final vocal. What I did is I selected all the vocals, all the takes, and then I quick bounce them, which is a Control B on the keyboard. And then I have all the takes in one take, which is this take right here.
Something, this feeling inside me, I know that it's telling me something.
So I thought the recording was already good, but it needed to be way more upfront, more compressed, more saturated, and obviously it's too dry right now. It has no reverb, no delay, no nothing. So I needed to add those things, of course. So I started off with an EQ, and I just took out all the low frequencies below 122 hertz. Then I used Puke Child 670, and I only used this first like effects rack. I don't know how you say that. And I just selected a preset and I just kind of tweaked it and just made it sound a little bit more upfront and a little bit more saturated.
Something, this feeling inside me, I know that it's telling me something.
Then the next thing is adding way more compression. So I used the RVox from Waves, and that made it sound like this.
Something, this feeling inside me, I know that it's telling me something.
Then I added a de-esser.
Something, this feeling inside me, I know that it's telling.
Then I added a CLA vocals. This is basically just to give a little bit more width to the vocal. So I went to pitch and I select stereo, and I have the meter set to around 8 or minus 8.1, and it just creates a little bit more width to your vocal.
Something, this feeling in.
Then I added another EQ. This one is more aggressive, as in like, you know, all the dots. Yet again, I cut away everything below 140, 139 hertz. I have a little dip at 288 hertz. I have a multi-band compressor that's set on 840 hertz, which basically is like ducking the muddier frequencies in my vocal.
Something, this feeling inside me, I know that it's telling.
And I boosted a lot of the higher frequencies. I wanted my vocal to be way more upfront in the mix and more clear. Then we have another vocal ride, and this is just like stabilizing the vocal even more, just controlling it even more, and that made it sound like this.
something. This feeling inside me, I know that it's telling me something.
And then I also used this limiter to finish it off to make it even louder. And I just selected this preset vocals natural limiting. So that is like the main effects rack of my vocal. Then I added 2 buses. Now this is a tip, or actually a technique that I learned from Big Z. He's a really awesome producer and he also uses Logic. And he kind of showed me this in one of his tutorials, and I thought it was really smart, just the way he approached this, because I usually would just put reverb on my vocal chain and just be happy with it, but you can control it way more when you put the reverb and delay in a separate bus. So this is my first bus for the vocal. I have a Valhalla Vintage Verb that is 100% wet, a pre-delay set to 24 milliseconds, and a decay set to 1.75 seconds. And then I added an EQ, and everything below 500 Hertz is cut out, and everything above 6000 Hertz is cut out. And it's not too loud, like you can barely even hear the reverb, but it's there. So it creates a little bit of room, but not too much. Sorry. So with the reverb, it sounds like this.
Something. This feeling inside me, I know that it's telling me something.
Then we added this delay in another bus. What I use for this delay is the Echo Boy Junior, and the echo time is set to 1/4. Yet again, make sure that the mix is all the way wet, because you're controlling that signal with the signal from the bus. And then the delay setting is set to studio tape, the sound of the delay. I added also another EQ. This is again cutting out everything below 600 Hertz and everything above 6000 Hertz. And then we end the vocal chain with a sidechain compressor. Now for this sidechain compressor, I use the Pro C from FabFilter. So if you want to have a vocal that's just punchy and right in your face, you don't want to let it, drown by too much reverb and delay. Now I think delay is a very awesome effect, especially for vocals, but it can really kill all the room in your track, if that makes sense. So this is why this is an awesome technique for vocals. So basically what you do is you go to your sidechain option and you select your vocal recording, and you go to the sidechain function and you press on external, so it's actually sidechaining. And whenever the vocal is playing, there will be no delay, or at least very soft. And then when the vocal isn't playing, the delay will be released. So it's like a really nice control of your delay. So if I play my vocal,
something. This feeling inside me, I know that it's telling me something.
You hear that the delay in those pauses are just being released, and that's way more effective for your track than just having a delay that's just like running through your song. So that's basically the vocal processing. I can show you guys also the vocoder that a lot of you guys really seem to love in this song. So the vocoder is a lot of different layers. I used mainly this Z method, and basically what it is instead of using only plugins like Manipulator or Isotope Vocal Synth, you're actually making your own harmonies with the vocal. So this is my chorus vocal.
What do you say when I tell you the things that I wanted to say all day?
Right, and then this is, for example, the first harmony of the vocoder.
What do you say when I tell you the things that I wanted to say all day?
And then this is the second one.
What do you say when I tell you the things that I wanted to say all day?
I used a sub bass. This is just a Logic stock plugin. It acts like an R bass from Waves. It just adds more bass to this specific harmony. A channel EQ and an OTT. And then this is the next harmony.
What do you say when I tell you the things that I wanted to say?
That's basically the same layer of the vocal, but then with little alter boy that is playing it an octave higher, and a reverb which adds like a really, I don't know, a really like stereo feel to the upper, like the higher frequencies of the vocal. Then we have this one. This is actually Manipulator.
What do you say when I tell you the things that I wanted to say all day?
And then this is Vocal Synth.
What do you say when I tell you the things that I wanted to say all day?
And then we have this bass vocoder. This is very important because if your vocoder section doesn't have a bass layer, it won't just have any energy. So it sounds like this. I think this is also vocal synth or manipulator. Basically what it is, it's an R bass and an EQ. Then there's this other layer that comes in, and this is just a normal sub bass. It's just silent, so it's nothing too special. And then on the group, there is nothing. So I think in the mixing project, I added like an EQ, glue compressor, and another OTT. So yeah, guys, this is the vocal processing of the vocal of my new song, There For You. If you haven't checked out the song yet, go stream it now. I will leave a link in the description below. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you've learned anything and give me suggestions for the next tutorial. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.